Welcome to the deep dive. We were really struck by something you or a listener mentioned recently, that desire to not just skim the surface, but to really understand things thoroughly and have those genuine aha moments.
Yeah,
It got us thinking about a concept we encountered in our source material, something called circling the square.
that's right. And for this deep dive of circling the square as a central lens, to examine a fascinating question, discovering meaning in our professional lives. We'll be exploring this through the career of Dr. Ajaz S. Hussain. His diverse experiences across, the FDA, Sandoz, Philip Morris International, Wockhardt, and NIPTE offer a study.
Definitely.
His journey beautifully illustrates this intersection of rigorous scientific thinking and perhaps surprisingly philosophical inquiry.
Exactly. It's about bringing together seemingly disparate worlds, the precise methodologies of pharmaceutical science, and the more, abstract realm of philosophy. Career, as reflected in his insights and the perspectives of those who've worked with him, really embodies this constant striving for a more complete understanding. Our mission today is to delve into those key moments and insights that reveal how someone in a science-driven field can find profound meaning in their work. We want to give you to grasping this perspective, drawing from the breadth of his experiences.
So let's begin with a concept that Dr. Hussain revisits and reevaluates: the very definition of quality in the pharmaceutical world. Now, initially, your understanding of quality might align with the standard scientific metrics, the purity of a compound, its potency, how stable it remains over time.
Seeing quality control reports in scientific papers, the hard numbers.
Exactly. But here's where Dr. Hussain's perspective takes a really interesting turn. He argues that the definition of quality needs to evolve to truly consider the patient's experience and the actual therapeutic outcome.
Oh, okay.
He poses some really fundamental questions. Does medicine genuinely make a person's life better? Does it meet their expectations for what treatment should achieve?
That's a big shift.
Yeah.
It connects directly to, our listeners' desire for relevant knowledge, doesn't it? Beyond just the specs.
It really does. What's fascinating here is how this shift acknowledges the powerful influence of the patient. Think about the placebo and nocebo effects.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
These phenomena clearly demonstrate how our beliefs and expectations can significantly impact how our bodies respond to treatment, sometimes even, more than the active compound itself.
It really forces you to think beyond just the chemical interactions, doesn't it? It brings in the human element in such a big way.
Totally.
Insightful quote from one of our sources: "Moving from trial and error to predicting approaches is the logical path forward. The ability to reliably predict outcomes is the true demonstration of understanding."
That quote really gets to the heart of this evolved understanding of quality. It's not enough to just, test a product.
Right. Reactive versus proactive.
Exactly. True quality, in this sense, lies in our ability to understand all the contributing factors so well that we can reliably predict a positive outcome for the patient. It's about designing the entire process with that end goal in mind.
Which, when you think about it, really speaks to that desire for thorough knowledge we mentioned. You're not just looking for the facts. You want to understand the underlying principles and how they all connect to produce a certain result.
Precisely. And this more comprehensive view of quality naturally leads us to the complexities of innovation and regulation within the pharmaceutical industry. Ensuring consistent quality becomes a much more intricate challenge. The globally distributed and interconnected supply chains that are, the norm today.
Okay, let's unpack that a little. On one hand, you have this constant push for innovation. Things like continuous manufacturing, where drugs are produced in an unbroken flow.
Yeah, and personalized medicine.
And personalized medicine tailored to an individual's unique biology, incredible potential. But then you have the absolutely essential need for robust regulatory standards to guarantee safety and effectiveness. It sounds like a constant tension.
It is a delicate balance, for sure, and Dr. Hussain's work underscores the necessity for what he terms continuous learning and adaptive regulatory frameworks.
Adaptive frameworks.
Regulatory systems that aren't static but can evolve and adapt in tandem with scientific advancements. This allows innovation to flourish without, compromising patient safety.
That makes complete sense. You can't have regulations based on outdated science hindering progress. But how do you actually make that work in practice? How do regulatory bodies stay enough to keep pace? It seems really challenging.
That's a crucial question, definitely. One of our sources points out, and this is interesting, ICH-Q8 outlined a methodology for quality by design, but lacks a 21st century ontology curtailing progress.
Okay, ICH-Q8. Quality by design. So building quality in from the start.
Of international guidelines for pharmaceutical development aiming for just that. But what this observation suggests is that even well-intentioned frameworks like this can become limiting if their underlying structure, what they call a 21st century ontology, basically a modern way of organizing and understanding the fundamental concepts in the field, doesn't keep up with our current scientific understanding.
So it's not just about updating the rules, but also about having a constantly evolving understanding of the fundamental principles that those rules are based on.
Precisely. It really highlights the need for this ongoing reevaluation, not just of the scientific discoveries themselves, but of the very frameworks we use to guide and regulate them.
It brings us back to that circling the square idea, a continuous effort to find the right alignment between pushing the boundaries of innovation and upholding the core responsibility of, well, serving humanity.
Exactly right. And this brings us to another critical aspect that Dr. Hussein emphasizes, the human dimension in science. It's easy to think of science as this purely objective and solely by data and logic. But at its core, it's a human activity.
Right.
And therefore, it's inevitably shaped by our inherent biases, our ambitions, even our fears.
That's a really important reminder. We sometimes forget that the people doing the scientific work, making the regulatory decisions, they're all human beings. And their perspectives can be influenced by factors beyond hard facts.
Like what, for instance?
Well, things like maybe a reluctance to challenge established ways of thinking, or even a fear of failure that might stifle truly groundbreaking research,
Absolutely. And Dr. Hussein shares a particularly impactful historical reflection. Quote, historically, mixing political ideology with science led to disastrous outcomes.
Wow.
This serves as a stark and frankly sobering reminder of how external human factors, when they become intertwined with scientific processes and regulatory oversight, can have profoundly negative consequences on the integrity and outcomes of science.
It's a powerful illustration of why it's so crucial to strive for objectivity and scientific inquiry and regulatory decision-making. So how do we navigate these inherent human elements? How do we as humans try to mitigate the impact of our own biases and irrationalities on the scientific process?
Well, Dr. Hussein suggests that a conscious effort to address our own potential irrationality is key. It's about building a more resilient and innovative
How so?
By acknowledging that we are all susceptible to biases, and by actively developing mechanisms to identify and mitigate their influence, we can foster a more robust and reliable scientific endeavor. It's not easy, but it's necessary.
It's about cultivating a kind of self-awareness then, both individually and maybe as a community, to potential blind spots, and actively work to see past them.
Yes, exactly. Now, it seems that this deep engagement with the complexities of pharmaceutical quality and the recognition of the significant human element involved naturally led Dr. Hussein to consider some broader philosophical questions.
Which seems like a natural progression, actually.
It did indeed. Intricate web of factors that influence pharmaceutical quality, the science, the regulation, the human behaviors. His reflections expanded to encompass some really profound existential questions.
Like?
For instance, the concept of the multiverse theory, with its idea of countless parallel universes and infinite possibilities, actually resonated with.
Wow.
Yeah, it resonated with the sheer complexity and the multitude of interacting variables that shape our reality, including the world of pharmaceutical development and regulation.
That's quite a jump in scale. How does the idea of a multiverse, something so vast and, well, theoretical, connect back to the very practical world of pharmaceutical science?
A little analogy, perhaps? A way to frame the challenge. It serves to highlight the almost infinite number of potential variables and outcomes that can be at play.
Okay.
It underscores the inherent limitations of our current understanding and the uncertainties we inevitably face when trying to predict complex biological systems and human behaviors. This then leads to a consideration of the crucial role of consciousness.
Consciousness.
Yeah, our ability to perceive, interpret, and make sense of this incredibly complex reality and how we approach scientific exploration.
So it's not just about gathering more data, but also about how we as conscious observers and interpreters make sense of that data and the world around us. A way of understanding become integral to the scientific process itself.
Exactly. And this philosophical journey reinforces the immense value of taking an integrated approach, one that seeks to understand not just the how of scientific processes, the mechanisms and the data, but also the deeper why behind our pursuit, striving for a more profound and holistic understanding that goes beyond just the technical mechanics.
That really circles back beautifully to our central theme, doesn't it? This idea of circling the square, this ongoing effort to reconcile different perspectives, different levels of understanding, to arrive at a more complete picture.
It does.
And it seems this broader of purpose then naturally translates into a different kind of leadership and a desire to create a wider, more meaningful impact.
Absolutely. For Dr. Hussein, his professional purpose clearly evolved beyond the fundamental goal of simply ensuring medication quality. It became a more expansive mission to contribute in a significant way to the overall well-being of the public and to enhance human health.
And how does someone working in such a complex and regulated field actually achieve that kind of wider impact? It seems daunting.
Leadership, mentorship, and fostering strong interdisciplinary collaboration emerge as crucial factors in the source material. By guiding and inspiring future generations of scientists and by building bridges between different areas of expertise, the positive influence of one's work can be amplified exponentially.
It's about creating a kind of ripple effect then, where your individual contributions don't just achieve immediate goals, but also empower and enable others to contribute in meaningful ways.
Precisely. And it sounds like Dr. Hussein has consistently asked himself a really fundamental and important question. What deeper meaning does this work truly hold?
A question we should probably all ask ourselves more often.
Probably. And the meaning he discovered lies at that crucial intersection of rigorous scientific inquiry and genuine human empathy. It's about applying our scientific knowledge and technical skills with a concern for the well-being of others. By embracing this philosophical why alongside the essential technical excellence, we can create lasting and truly significant benefits for society as a whole.
So, bringing it all back to our central metaphor, this idea of circling the square, it's clear that it's not about finding a single definitive solution, final destination. It's not a neat box.
Exactly. It's a dynamic and continuous pursuit of equilibrium, of balance. It's about constantly striving to harmonize seemingly opposing forces, science and philosophy, innovation and regulation, technical precision and human sensitivity.
Right.
Each step we take, every challenge we encounter along the way contributes to this ongoing journey of seeking a more complete understanding.
It's a powerful reminder that finding meaning in our professional lives isn't a static achievement. It's something we continuously explore, question, and redefine as we learn and grow. And this perspective must be particularly relevant for individuals navigating profession or facing uncertainties in their fields, like, say, with recent FDA workforce reductions we've heard about.
It is, absolutely. In times of change and challenge, Dr. Hussein's journey encourages us to boldly embark on our own explorations of purpose, to seek meaning not just within the defined parameters of our job descriptions, but by actively integrating of science with the subjective experiences of being human.
The technical expertise with a broader philosophical understanding of why our work matters.
Yes. Ultimately, as he so eloquently puts it, the answers we seek lie not just in what we manage to achieve, but perhaps more importantly, in truly understanding why we dedicate ourselves to the pursuit.
So deep dive into circling the square and the multifaceted journey of discovering meaning in professional life to a close, we're left with a really compelling thought for you, our listener. How can you, in your own professional square, actively work to integrate your unique technical skills and knowledge with a deeper understanding of the human needs you serve, philosophical considerations that underpin your field?
Yeah, that's the core question, isn't it? It might even be valuable to consider how delving into concepts like epistemology, the study of knowledge itself, and ontology, the study of the nature of being and existence, could offer fresh perspectives on your work and your place within it.
Interesting avenues to explore.
Definitely. Deeply on the why behind your own professional endeavors, much like Dr. Hussein has done throughout his remarkable career, could lead to some truly unexpected and profoundly meaningful discoveries.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this